A wonderful good morning to you, Pisces. Good to see you here. Pisces, I am doing your shadow work oracle reading today with one fairy tale card. As always, I'm picking one card from a fairy tale. I don't know before which one this will be. I pick it like one picks tarot cards or oracle cards, usually without seeing what it is. So here it is though. This is Aladdin and the Magic Lamp. Right, so that is the all over theme of the reading. Then I have here my dark mirror oracle cards that I use for shadow work, and here I have 3 cards from the Sun Tzu The Art of War oracle deck. I think they are fantastic and I think they work very well together. Okay, this left side is for the recent past, this is for the present, and this is for the future. On the left side, we are going to have a look at things that may have gone wrong, things we may have repressed, things that we could have perhaps handled differently, and the lessons we can learn from that, so that we can create a better presence for us and, of course, a much better future. So, let us begin. I have, from the very start, a very strong feeling with regard to this reading that this is potentially about something creative. I'm feeling very strong energies of creative flow, working with your own creativity, perhaps the question of where your creative flow has been blocked. Now, of course, this can apply to human relationships as well, within family, friends, romantic relationships, because, you know, wherever we disconnect from ourselves or where we repress our true self, what happens, of course, Pisces, is that we are not in the flow anymore. And of course, flow is everything for us, right? That's, of course, the case for every sign, but I think maybe particularly with signs like Libra and Pisces. Pisces as a water sign, you need the flow. You need to be in the flow. Wherever there's a hindrance, whenever there's something coming into your way and blocking your energy, you feel it just so painfully and strongly, and we can't have that. So we need to find a good way to, you know, swim through the currents of life and you know, go around the blockages, you know, use our wisdom, the wisdom that you, of course, have in spades, Pisces, your intellect, your sparkling intellect. Pisces is a very intellectual sign in my experience, and very creative, of course, as well. So how can you use your past experiences to be in the flow, if possible always, or whenever there is a blockage, how can you unblock your energy quicker? And of course, that means when we unblock our energy flow, that means usually those situations in our lives that we're not happy with fall into place. Okay? So, let us start with this card here. Recent past. Oh, okay, so here we see a card that says Triumph of Lies. Okay, and I'm not quite sure how well this focuses. Let me see if I can get this at that a bit sharper. Yes, this is good. Okay, so now you see here we are actually looking through a window pane. From the outside, we're looking into a shop window. This is a very creepy looking card, but I think it's really beautifully drawn and quite mysterious. So this is a shop window with mannequins that are wearing clothes. You can see this over here and over there, of course, and the one in the middle. Right, I think now it's becoming a little bit more apparent what we're looking at. It's not quite so blurry and vague after all. This is a shop window for dresses, coats, all those lovely things that we want to wear. And the mannequin in the middle, though, is wearing a skull, and the skull is slightly floating, and there's a crown, a golden crown above it as well. So, what on earth does this mean? Now, first of all, I understand this looks a little bit alarming and dark, but all of those cards of the dark mirror, they're kind of gloomy looking, but I think they're excellent for shadow work and, you know, can help bring those things to light that we're maybe hiding, and help us to have more light and radiance in our life after all, through that. So the mannequins in the shop window, they of course stand for lifeless human forms that are wearing clothes. So now it seems to me, let me think for a moment here. It seems to me that in the past, what depressed you, Pisces, and what hindered your flow was that you may have gone more for a route of following the expectations of others, disconnecting from your inner voice, disconnecting from your experience and what you actually wanted to do with regard to, it could be an artistic project, it could be within a relationship, that can be family, that can be romantic, it could be all kinds of things. But really the main thing is that, when the main focus is on superficialities, on how we appear to others, on how we come across, then that's when we lose contact with our inner energy, our life energy, and this is when we are kind of throwing ourselves out of the flow, or we're blocking our own flow. So as always, when I'm saying something like this is not victim blaming or victim shaming or anything like this, but we do need to look at certain aspects where we may have handled in a different way for our own well-being. You see, I'm not trying to say you could have done things better, right? That's not really what this is about. Of course, that may be the case, but what this is really about, Pisces, is that, of course, at any given time, we are trying our best as it is. We really are trying hard. The question is, into which direction were we trying? And this is a card of, when I'm talking about superficialities, what I mean is, with the dresses, the outer appearance, of course, and the lifelessness within. And how glorious and freeing would it be to reverse this? To not care so much anymore about what others may think of us, and to not care so much anymore about, how we come across, how our creative work comes across. Am I writing a story in the right genre? Is the plot, the story arch, am I constructing this the right way? Is this following this or that rule that I've read about in a creative writing book? Or if you draw or paint a painting, are these colors too much, like something you've seen somewhere else? Also, see, all these things that you may be questioning in your work. This is all putting your energy into your head, but then it becomes lifeless. Those are not creative energies anymore that are helping your creative flow. And if then your artwork looks beautiful, then this is great, but where is the life force within it? I remember well that in the 1990s, I was very young. I went to a museum in London, and I stood in front of a group of different paintings by different painters, very, very famous, all of them. And there was one Monet, and one Van Gogh even, and then there was one Degas in the middle, a small picture, much smaller than the other ones. And it was just a fruit bowl, it was just a still life. And I could not take my glance away from this little painting. It was absolutely mesmerizing, and what it did was the energy that was caught within those colors. That it's when you paint, it's like the energy of the painter is flowing into the artwork, and it's locked in the moment the paint dries. This is how it seems to me. And I thought, I can't believe this. I'm looking at a Van Gogh, and of course it was glorious, don't get me wrong. I'm looking at a Monet. It was absolutely mesmerizing. But this much smaller picture with a much seemingly insignificant subject, fruit bowl, I mean, come on. it really was difficult to disconnect myself from that energy and to finally leave, because at some point you have to leave because the museum closes. And so, you know, the question is, my subject that I'm working on, is it important enough? Is it impressive enough? Is it something that is right for the market? All of these things, don't matter if your creative energy is blocked and you are not accessing your life force anymore, that creative energy that you, like a glowing lava stream, you pour into your work. Okay, so now, if this is not about creativity, you know, it could be about work. Same thing could apply to work. You know, is your heart in it? Or is it just about, you know, I need to work in order to create a certain lifestyle, and, you know, it's important what it looks like, what car I drive, and all of this. Pisces, this is not for you. And it's very unlikely that you don't think along those lines anyway. So you might as well let it go and be free. Right, so if this is about a romantic relationship, what could this mean? What are you repressing within you, or were you repressing within you in the past to block, not in order to block your life force, but that what did you block within yourself, or what did you focus on that caused for your life force to be blocked? Okay, so this is really the question here. And when it comes to romantic relationships or friendships, or even family, parents, and so forth, that very clearly feels to me like people pleasing. Right? What can I do in action is also something that is on the outside. It's not necessarily a superficiality, but it's not always a matter of the soul. What can I do to please that person? What can I look like to be more attractive to them? You know, do they like short dark hair? And my hair is long and strawberry blonde, you know, and did I try very hard to change myself for that person, because then I thought then they will love me the way I love them. But what way did you love them, Pisces? Did you honestly, you Pisces, did you love them for their superficialities, for their looks? I mean, I don't believe it. Not in a million years. That's not you, Pisces. You know, you loved this person's soul. And if they were good looking, fine. That's of course a wonderful bonus. You know, that's brilliant. If someone has a nice dress sense, I mean, that's great. But honestly, that is something that, you know, is really not important. It's nice, but it's not important. And you know what happens when you focus so much on how to please someone, or how to be in your outer appearance, or maybe even in your manners, in your way to speak, in all of these things, that version of you that will be most attractive to that person in question, that's when you disconnect from your true self. Right? This is the other person should love you for who you are. This does not mean that, you know, we shouldn't take care of ourselves, or we shouldn't take pride in, you know, being healthy and having maybe a bit of a sense of style and all of this. But it really needs to go along the lines of your being, your personality. It needs to follow that. It can't be along the lines of what someone else wants. This is not how it works. You can never be happy that way, right? You can never be happy trying to be a version of yourself for someone else and still be true to yourself. That's the death of authenticity. That's literally the death of individuality and authenticity. No one can be happy like that. Okay? So, what does this mean? Of course, to be ourselves with all that includes, takes courage, right? And this card in particular, I think, is actually quite scary. So that invites us to do two things, actually: to see how eerie and dead the superficial layer of vanity is, right? Again, nothing wrong with vanity. It's nice to look after yourself and all of this. This is not what I mean. You know what I mean. What I mean is, if there is no soul behind it, if your soul is not behind this, then, don't do it. And the second thing that this invites us to do is to have courage, because you know how creepy this looks. And of course, in the face of something creepy, I think that's why most people watch horror movies or read creepy books or whatever. It's it invites us to sharpen the knife of our courage. It makes us more courageous because we experience it in a safe setting. And so, what kind of courage do we need in order to stop people pleasing? We have to speak authentically our own truth. We have to be true to ourselves. There is no other way around it. And know that you're lovable and wonderful and exciting and attractive the way you are. Is there room for, I don't know, working on certain things? Maybe yes, maybe no. It's entirely up to us. But if someone has been putting you down for not looking a certain way or not doing things just so, the way they want it, to hell with it, Pisces. No more. Right? Nurture and nourish your authentic self first. Read the books you want to read, listen to the music you want to listen to. All of that. These are all elements of our personality, of our life. So the more you do that kind of thing, that is those kinds of things that are for you, it doesn't matter if they're not for the other person. Don't allow anyone to judge you for having the taste you have, the dress sense that you have, for choosing to write a book in a certain genre where other people might think, what on earth is wrong with you? Because that's not mainstream, that doesn't sell. This is too niche. Go for it, Pisces. Is there a job change? Is there a situation where, you have the possibility to go for a profession and actually make a living from it? Because that's very important, Pisces. It's very easy to just lose sight of that vital aspect. So think of that too. But do you have the chance to go for a job and make a living from it that is slightly unusual and maybe something that people wouldn't expect from you? What a wonderful adventure. Go for it, Pisces. Yeah. And if that person in your life that you were trying to please, that you're trying to mold yourself for into a different shape, and in that process disconnect from your real self. If that person has a problem with your real self, then it's very, very easy. They are not for you, and you are not for them. Right? If someone sees who you are and has a problem with this, that's not... Why would you want to please such a person? Probably because they make you feel bad for, that other version of yourself that for whatever reason, they have a problem with. Again, to hell with it, Pisces. No way. Be yourself in your art, in your relationship, and everything will flow. Everything will fall into place. Everything will come together. Right? And one can do this with passion, with energy, with strength, unlocking your inner strength, your courage to be who you really are, in all areas of life. And, well, that courage gives you the strength to just go from one wonderful adventure to the next. Excellent. So, what does this card say? Now, this is the Sun Tzu quote about your past, okay? And now here it says, this is an actual quote from the book: "If you know the enemy and know yourself, your victory will not stand in doubt. If you know heaven and know earth, you may make your victory complete." Now, what does that mean? Interesting. The interpretation is speaking in public. And of course, that's only one of many interpretations. but let's go with this one for now. The prospect of speaking in public can be terrifying. However, it is a great skill to develop. For Sun Tzu, the enemy, quote unquote, of the public speaker could be lack of a point, mumbling, reading your speech, and making too much of your mistakes. Know yourself means know your material, relax, be confident, dress right, sober up, practice, and be yourself. How interesting, right? Here it says dress right. And here we have a card of mannequins dressed up in a shop window. So this is about appearance again, but what does it mean to dress right? Well, I mean, I suppose there is a certain general idea in society that in certain events call for I don't know, a particular way to dress. I mean, you wouldn't turn up in just, I don't know, pants as in a pair of underwear in a public speaking. I mean, that's not how it works. But you know, dress right of course means also right for you. Yeah. And when it says here it can be terrifying, prospect of speaking in public can be terrifying, this is in general showing yourself to someone else, right? Not hiding anymore who you are, speaking up for yourself. It could be literally public speaking. It could be finishing your artwork and having the courage to show it to the world, to put it out there, right? And know that you have done your absolute best because you have been authentic, because there is your creative energy, your life energy in that artwork of yours. And this is when, for instance, something like criticism, it doesn't hurt so much anymore, because criticism can be about technique, about, you know, all kinds of things, right? But if you know that you have been authentic as an artist when you created that, nobody else is like you, Pisces. I don't mean Pisces in general, but you, individual Pisces watching this right now, no one is like you. Your creative energy and your personality are absolutely unique. And in the moment your creative work is charged with that, you know, what power do critics even have? Because in that moment criticism doesn't even make any sense. In that moment you see how feeble and pathetic it is, because you are radiant and wonderful as a human being. Your life energy is not up for criticism. That's the crown of your creation, is that to know you have been authentic. And that's when your artwork comes to life, right? This is dead. There's nothing there. Okay, so you want to leave the people pleasing in the past, be courageous to be yourself, okay, and show up as the person that you really are. And of course that goes then for romantic relationships as well. Now, we talked about courage already. This needs a lot of courage. Hell yes. Because, you know, that person you're dealing with potentially now has probably known you for a very long time as someone who is a people pleaser and who is not speaking up for themselves. Don't repress your courage anymore. You may find that courage comes to you perhaps quite easily once you're not repressing this anymore. You know, the shadow work is all about bringing to life what we potentially repress. Are you repressing feeling good about yourself? Are you repressing feeling glamorous and actually liking yourself the way you are? Are you repressing perhaps your creative life force because you worry if you let it all out and create something truly magnificent and gorgeous and impressive, it might intimidate certain people around you? If that's the case, Pisces, why the hell are you around such people? You know, like the American writer Wally Lamb once said, write for yourself and then allow for, no, hold on, how did this go? Write for yourself, speak your truths, I'm paraphrasing, phrasing something like that, and then allow for the audience that is supposed to find your work, find it. You don't need to twist yourself to please others. when you show up authentically, those people that are right for you will find you. Yes, so don't repress courage anymore. You may have it already. You may have it already. You may just have been talked into being fearful by some toxic person in your life or persons. Right? No more. Okay, so past. Now? Oh, okay. This is the present moment. And I can see, Pisces, that you are already doing it, and I'm so, so happy about this and so excited. This gorgeous card is called Calling the Storm. And you see what this person is doing here. Yeah, this is a magical moment. This is being in touch with your energies, with your subconscious, with your shamanistic capabilities even, because this person is summoning the storm, the elements. And we know what it's like when a storm is really, really powerful. What it means is it's, of course, cause a lot of destruction, but the question is, what kind of destruction? Right? In this case, it is very much a question of, sometimes we need a storm in order to eradicate, to destroy the solid structures that have hindered us so far in our flow, on a human level and on a creative level perhaps as well. So you are creating the perfect storm already that is doing away with. This makes me so happy, honestly. This is really, really good. So there is so much power in this, and look how much confidence there is. Right? So continue with this. You're on the right path. Allow for, take the risk of people in your life to be flabbergasted and surprised about the new you that we, of course, know is the real you. Right? And so, what is that storm? Well, just be yourself. If you have been repressing anger, be angry, feel that anger. It doesn't need to be something destructive. It doesn't mean you need to destroy something. It doesn't mean you need to physically or emotionally hurt someone. You can just allow for that energy to run right through you, and then eventually it will just vanish and you will feel very, very relieved, but you will feel whole. Okay? So, calling the storm. Know what you want to fight for, know who you are, and mix things up a bit and see how people react. Those people who are for you are not only going to be still on your side. Those people, once the storm breaks loose, properly, once you show up with your true force as a glowing, radiant, wonderful, powerful individual, those people who are who love you and who are right for you, not only will they be still on your side, but they are going to be excited because they get to experience you the way you really are, and that's of course so much bigger and stronger and more radiant, all of that lovely stuff, than the people pleaser. Right? So very, very good. I'm very happy about this. This is nice. And now here, the quote. Sun Tzu said, "What enables the wise sovereign and the good general to strike and conquer and achieve things beyond the reach of ordinary men is foreknowledge." Very, very good. Okay, so, and very much in keeping with this, I really like this. So your journey is, you're already making it happen. This is such good energy. And now he says, as explanation, take the long view. Foreknowledge is an awareness of something before it happens. Okay, so Pisces, use your intuition, right? Listen to your inner voice. Such knowledge is very important because it gives us the peace of mind of knowing that the world will not end tomorrow. It is how civilizations went from the horse and cart to the jet airliner in 100 years. So this is progress, right? Foreknowledge is how we use the promise of tomorrow to change and continue with what we do today. Effectively, Pisces, by conjuring up a healing, liberating storm, you are creating a freer, liberated, more powerful future. That is, of course, that goes without saying. But how wonderfully this matches. This is really, really good. Okay, and again, follow your inner voice while you do this. Excellent. So now, let's go with the last card for the future. And this card is obsession. This is very interesting. We can probably make this comparatively short because it's so obvious. Obsession in this card means, of course, it can be obsession for a person, it can be for a situation, it can be obsession for that novel that, just doesn't want to come together, but we are clinging to it for dear life because we've put so much energy into it already. It could be the relationship that we're clinging to for dear life because we've put so much energy into it already, right? What if we leave now? Was all of this for nothing? So we obsess over that situation and we're not letting it go. Of course, that is blocking the flow, right? How can there be any kind of flow from the heart or creatively? There's nothing fluent in that. So watch out for where you're putting your obsessions, and when an obsession goes from healthy and exciting enthusiasm to toxic obsession that is blocking you. Okay, in small doses and to a healthy extent, an obsession can, as I just said, also be just enthusiasm. So that means, have you perhaps obsessed over something in your life in a toxic way because you wanted to fix it and it didn't shift? Did you perhaps want to, make something happen and it just wouldn't move? And over putting all of that effort into that situation and directing your focus mostly onto this, is it possible that your healthy obsessions, your things that fill you with passion, that make you feel excited, that those perhaps got blocked or at least a bit dimmed? Right? So if you let go of a toxic obsession, you have so much strength and energy for those lovely, passionate and fruitful obsessions. Obsessions doesn't need to be a negative word. It honestly doesn't need to be. It can be, if you're creating something, and if you're that kind of artist that will literally forget to eat and drink for a long time, and then over your creation, then you think, oh my gosh, I'm really hungry and I didn't realize this while I was creating. That is obsessive as well, but this is healthy because you are still controlling it and you're using that passion, let's call it passion, to access your inner energy and your strength to the full. Okay? And now Sun Tzu said, we cannot enter into alliances until we are acquainted within the designs of our neighbors. Okay, so interesting. And here is the answer. Choose your friends carefully. Pisces, when we follow our passions in life, and we do so authentically and safely, because we are not blocking our beautiful energy through people pleasing or through being scared to rock the boat and being scared to, conjure up a storm or whatever, right? It's when we are completely connected with ourselves and our energy between us and the world flows freely. It's not the case that we don't really need anyone along the way, but we are kind of the center of our lives in a non-narcissistic way, in a healthy way. Right? We don't really need to take strength from others to that extent. We're accessing our own strength. But whatever you do, whatever change of job you may have, whatever creative work you may be doing right now, whatever your relationship you are in, choose your friends carefully. Because what happens when we show ourselves authentically the way we really are, Pisces, is that that light, that glow, that strength and radiance, the abundance of creative ideas, the confidence, you know, that or the courage that we maybe already have and just repressed, when all of this is second nature to us, or well, actually first nature to us, right? What happens when other people see this is that it can cause envy at times. So watch out for that. Don't be paranoid over it. If someone is your real friend, don't question them, of course. Follow your instinct, but also understand that sometimes when we create, or just when we show up as human beings in a relationship the way we really are, we may not be aware of just how lovely we are, how beautiful that painting is, you know, how our kindness and friendliness is, that comes to us perhaps so easily, is something that, you know, all of this might be something that is provoking other people and may cause envy. So watch out for this. And now, at last, the fairy tale card. This card is this is actually from an original illustration from an Osman or Osmanic manuscript from Turkey from the 19th century. So this is quite old. This is lovely. I find this fascinating for several reasons. Okay, so a main aspect of the story is, of course, that you know, this is very much about envy also, isn't it? You know, you have the magical lamp, and you have the spirit in the lamp, and you can, let me think about this. This is really interesting. There are so many layers to this. I'm not quite sure what to go for straight away. So I need to start somewhere. So the villain in the story, of course, knows about the magical lamp and knows that Aladdin is the only one who can get it. And so there's a certain element of naivety in Aladdin, who doesn't know about the evil of the villain and his goals and his ideas. You know, I mean, he doesn't care at all if Aladdin lives or dies. You know, he actually sets him up to die. It's quite grim and quite dark. And by sheer coincidence and luck, and you may call it fate, Aladdin escapes from the dangerous situation and is free. And of course, the villain in the end is dead. Is no danger anymore. All of that. So now, okay, but what does this mean for this situation? Naivety. Choose your friends wisely. You know, only because someone is coming across in a very glamorous way, you know, because the villain Aladdin is a person of very high rank. It's the sultan or king or something like this. So only if someone comes across like that, it does not mean that they're trustworthy, obviously. So don't be impressed by someone who comes across as overly confident and, you know, maybe slightly narcissistic, I don't know, or someone who tries to intimidate you. You know, the reason why they're intimidated by you is because you are the one who holds all the power. They're scared of your power. And the power is in the spirit. The power is the lamp. The lamp is also an object of light, of course, and there's spirit in there. You see the symbolism of this. I think this is beautiful. So he holds the lamp right now. So you hold your lamp with your light and your spirit, and someone else wants it. Someone else wants to harm you and wants to use the power of your spirit and your light for himself. Okay, so watch out for that. Again, don't be paranoid. There's no reason for that. it's quite easy to be safe and to go comparatively safely through life on an energetic level, you know, if we only watch out for certain things and at the same time don't forget to have a bit of fun with it. So what I find very interesting also is that, so again, people who are envious, who don't have access to their own strength or own spiritual strength, right? They might envy your creativity, your spiritual strength, your capability to love. And don't forget how immensely powerful that spirit is in that story. It's so much more powerful than Aladdin, isn't it? Or is it? Because look at this. You see how the face of Aladdin is very, very similar to the face of the spirit. I won't focus, but you've seen it, I think, already. So this means this is Aladdin's spirit. It's literally his spirit. So this is your spirit. You can do, once you access your spiritual energy and strength, you can do such powerful things. Don't be intimidated by people who might envy you, right? Don't obsess over the wrong things in your life. Choose your passions wisely, shall we say, okay? Not just your friends. And that artificial, lifeless, superficial glamour that was a result of forcing yourself to please someone, it will make way to something even more glamorous and beautiful and gorgeous and radiant. And that is your own personal truth. And that is it for today, Pisces. This was wonderful. I am very excited about this. You're already making it happen. Don't forget this. No matter how much the past may still hurt, no matter how much people may have betrayed you in the past, appeared to be friends and then really weren't, you know, you're already accessing your strength. And if you continue wisely when it comes to choosing with whom you work with, you know, with what kind of people you have in your life, then everything is going to be, I mean, it's going to be magnificent. Let's not make it smaller than it is. Your spiritual powers are incredible. You know, we just need to have the courage to access them and to go there, and not think, oh, I should make myself small for the sake of not offending others. You know, no way. Not for you, Pisces. I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you for spending this time with me, and I'm excited to see that things are happening for you already, and you are the one making them happen. Thank you so much for now, and I see you around soon.